Thank you, committee. I'm speaking as a citizen, and I can understand why people are appalled by a demonstration that blocks a key freeway going into Boston where thousands of working people were disrupted with no easy alternative to get around the disruption. But still, as someone who's been involved in demonstrations on and off all my life, I really object to this bill, which I think is draconian and is written so broadly that it's a threat far beyond the civil rights community. There's lots of demonstrations on state roads. Like, for example, I believe Route 44 out here is a state road. So a demonstration right here at the State House. Someone steps off the sidewalk onto the street. An irate motorist, because anyone could bring action, could try and put this person away for at least a year. What a power that is. And it's not just the civil rights demonstrations. There could be labor demonstrations. I've been to some big ones out here. And the people who did step off the sidewalk because it was crowded. I've been at places where pro-life people were demonstrating and they too stepped off the sidewalk because it was crowded. Someone who really disliked that movement could bring an action to try and put them away for a year. Not likely to happen, but the threat of it is a serious thing. I'm also frequently a bus rider. Right now, all the bus stops in North Providence are blocked. You have to stand on the road. We know that motorists are impatient. There's a lot of road rage. It could be directed at people waiting for a bus or a bicyclist. Believe me, in the bicycle community, there's a lot of irate motorists who scream, get off the road. And if they believe, the way this law is written, that they're interfering with traffic, you could be put away for a year, theoretically at least, because bicyclists interfere with the free flow of traffic. This bill should not pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hello again, committee. I spoke against the previous bill, which I thought was draconian and excessive, but I'm sympathetic to this one because it's clear to me that deliberately blocking an interstate is more dangerous and more disruptive and actually more counterproductive for a protest than merely blocking a street or local road. And I do have some suggested amendments, but I do think that, as I understand the bill, it has a modest increase in penalties. It's already illegal and a misdemeanor to block any road deliberately or knowingly or recklessly, up to 6 months. For a freeway, so-called, it raises that to up to a year. So that's the only additional penalty. And I think calling attention that it's more serious to do it on an interstate-type highway is a worthwhile thing. I hope it deters people from doing that if the penalty is a little higher, and it sends a signal that that's a more serious thing, because it is. I believe it is counterproductive. The Providence Journal had a non-scientific poll. There was like 95% people appalled and opposed to blocking the interstate on the 2 protests that they heard about. Now, that's not a scientific poll, but all my friends agree with that, and a lot of people are very sympathetic to civil rights, but they think it's a very dangerous and foolish idea, and it shifts the conversation from police killings to blocking the highway. So rather than calling attention to the problem, it detracts from calling attention to the problem with most of the public. So I think it's a bad strategy. As far as the amendments I suggest, I don't understand the definition of a freeway, and I've worked on transportation issues in this state for a long time, and I'm not sure what it applies to about this abutters and their rights. I'm not sure if it applies to the overpass on Smith Street on 95. I'm not sure who the abutter is when it goes over 95. So my suggestion is just, instead of calling it a freeway and trying to define freeway, just say interstate highways, and that would cover 195, 295, and 95. Wouldn't cover a couple of limited access highways like parts of Route 1 and parts of 146, but I don't think that would be a problem. I think it's better to be clear, and that's where the action is. The other amendment I would ask the sponsors and others interested to consider, it's just as dangerous and even more disruptive to block passenger railroad tracks, and that's been done around the country occasionally. We know from the incident in New York that if someone's on the tracks, a train can't stop. And it's very dangerous. It's also more disruptive. People on the train can't go to the next exit, or in the case of Smith Street, go around Smith Street if there's a disruption. And I think that the bill should be broadened to that increase the penalties for interfering with railroad, passenger railroad traffic also. Could just say, in addition to interstates, tracks with scheduled passenger railroad service. Those are my two suggestions for amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schiller. Any questions? Thank you.